Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to day number 11 as we make our way through developing this beta into something hopefully outstanding, something amazing, something special that'll be useful to a lot of people. Well, all of the people that get in early enough to get a spot using MLFX, as we're not going to be available for a long time, right? We're not going to be available after the point of about 100 people. We want to sort of close this off for a while and then obviously make sure we can get consistent results with that number of people, and then maybe expand it 100 people at a time, potentially up to the 1,000 person mark. I don't think there's any want or desire from either Armory or I to go beyond that 1,000 person mark. We're not doing this this is a business for us, but this is not going to be the main business for us. The main business for us is definitely machine learning, and Overmind, MLFX, is a means to an end for us to generate consistent revenue cash flow to then build other businesses and to create other products using this algorithm. So we could go into the stock market, we could go into cryptocurrency, we could go into bonds, ETFs, commodities, whatever we want to do if we want to do it within the trading aspect of things, or we could go completely a different direction and do something else. So there is limited spots available. We've got about 30 or so people currently in the beta test room, and the rest of the 70 spots are going to fill quickly. So if you're watching this video and you're interested in participating, you should get in early while you still can. We cannot guarantee spots for everyone, and it's first come, first serve. Just because you really want to be a customer of ours and you really want to pay to use the product does not entitle you to using it, unfortunately. And we are going to be cherry picking a little bit once we sort of get established as well. Personally, I don't particularly want to, if you're an asshole, I don't particularly want to help you get rich. I'm sorry. It's just, be a nice person, be a genuine person, a good, helpful human, and you get certain entitlements in life, and this is going to be one of those. Anyway, what are we looking at? We're looking at the analysis page. A little bit of work done today on it. There's a few things we wanted to change. We've got rid of all of the old signals beyond the point of us making some bug fixes that would have made those signals redundant. So they're no longer murking up the data, and we now have a clear picture as to what's actually been happening. So I've spent all day, or the last sort of 9 hours, just playing around with this and using it. It is awesome. It is awesome. It is a great tool for analysis and research into, different pairings, different trades. And just to give you an example of how you can use this. In its current form, with the search box here, we can say, okay, I want to look at all of the Euro, Jappy trades, and this is on the 1 hour, and I only want to see the trades that had the signal of very strong. So we can see all of the very strong. There wasn't that many, or there's not that many now that we've removed it, and they all came on sort of Monday there. But maybe we want very weak, so we can do that as well, and we can see there's a whole bunch more. There's a total of 51 entries there. But you can do that. You can also search based on any of the other fields. So if you wanted to see all of them that had a -5 predicted average income, you could just do -5, -4. You could start to see patterns. We use the average income to base the label off. So you'll see when you go -4, all of them are very weak buys, but if you start to go -2, you'll see some of them are weak. And then if you go -1, same there, some are weak, some are very weak. But if you go like 1 point however many, and that's an issue there, because we need to figure out a way to search just based on that. So if we go maybe 1 and then pip, let. Okay, no, so there's not any way to search positive there, which is a bit of an issue. So we're going to need to figure out a way to do that. We are also implementing a system that will allow us to search based on time, because at the moment, you can do 17 like that, and it'll show you all of the ones that have 17 in terms of the hour. So that's 5 p.m. But it'll also show you the 17-minute variations as well. So we're going to just add something to the beginning there, probably like an H or something, which will enable us to search for anything from hour 17. And that's a quick fix. There will be ways that we implement later on to make that more, better. So we can also we can search all of those ones for 33%. You can do a whole bunch of things to just look, but it's still very early. We do need to definitely work on it and work on ways to improve it. One of the things that we're going to implement very quickly is the ability to change the time zone to your time zone, so that it's not just using GMT time. And that's going to make it a lot easier when you're looking at this time versus the time that your broker uses, and you're like, oh, that doesn't match up. I have to constantly work out in my head, okay, minus 5 hours, and then count back and then get to that time period. And I know from having to use that day in and day out that it is frustrating, it is taxing, it's annoying, and I just want to be able to look at the number there and then look at the number here and have them match up. So that's probably going to get done tomorrow, which is awesome. But there's a whole bunch of things you'll be able to do with this analysis page. This is the very, very basic form of it at the moment. We're going to add a whole bunch of features here, a whole bunch of data that you can use. Some of this data is going to look a lot cleaner. We're going to round, obviously, the predicted change. You don't need anything beyond 5 decimal places and 3 if you're thinking of the, any pairing of the Japanese yen rather. So there's no need to have all those decimal places there. We can get rid of those. There can be just the 6 and then the 3, depending on what you're looking at, because obviously that's the pip value and that's the point value. So we'd just round that, and that would become then 3. So it'll be 8.3 or 28.3, which seems massive. 2, no, that's. What am I thinking? 1, 2, I can't count. 3, 4, 5. 5 decimal place. That's the pip value. That's the point value. So it'll be 2.8. Stupid. Soleil. So that would go down to being 3 and 5, which will make things easier. So we've got an active trade going on here at the moment. Today's not been an overly great day for us in terms of actual trades that I've taken. I've taken 3 trades today, and they've all been losers. So these 3 here. 2 on the AUD USD, which it so happens that I'm in again. The AUD USD has not been performing for us as of late, unfortunately. Possibly some issues that I need to hash out with which trades I'm taking, which signals I'm taking in terms of signal strength. And now that I have this analysis page, I'm able to start seeing correlations between, the accuracy and the average income, as well as the predicted pip move. Like for instance, if we want to look at some of the trades from earlier today on the Euro Jappy, we can see that very weak buys showing 27.78 accuracy, and negative 9.4 is the average income of those collective traders, and we're predicting 11 pip positive move. So to me, this trade, definitely this trade, and these 3 should all be sell signals, right? Because it's averaging almost on negative the amount that it is earning on positive. So we then look at that and we look at the Euro-Jappy pairing for this time period. We're talking 16, -5 becomes sort of 15, not 15, 11, 11, 10, and that's too recent to really have a result here, I think. But what was our entry? 522, 522. So we were looking for a buy, and we're still in this trade. It's still deciding what we're going to do. But go back a little bit earlier. This becomes 949, so we figure out where that is on here. And this one actually will be a positive, I think, for us. So after losing a whole bunch, we finally got a winner there. But we look at these earlier trades from when it started to trend down, and let's look at the earliest one from today. You're sort of going back to yesterday there, so that would be that'd be 2042 yesterday, which is sort of up here. Let me untether that. So yeah, I mean, all of these. So it lost a whole bunch, and that's why its average income is going up. Or going down, rather, it's going down in negatives. So you start to see that creep up, and that's a trend. And these trades starting sort of there, which is 15, which would be 2030. So around about here, this has been like a loser, 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 loser. These earlier trades, obviously they're reasonable signals, right? They could have gone either way. And generally these trades are winning trades. But then you start to see the accuracy of these traders is decreasing, as well as the average loss that they're having is increasing. So to me, these are good sell signals. And we're probably going to tweak that and figure out a way to just automatically turn them into sell signals instead of buy signals. Because yeah, you go back sort of, when's the earliest? 9.9 would be 23, 27. 23, 27. So around about here. So we might have actually just won this trade. 988. No, 918. I don't think that's we just managed to scrape by on this trade. But the next one, 655. So we minus 5 out of that, and we go for 155. And we're talking about here, and see, we're not making the 11 pips, and then it's sort of dropped off a cliff. So at the start here, that one, and obviously these trades where it's above or getting close to being above the predicted move would have all been pretty darn good winning sell orders for us. So we go 4, entry point here for a sell, but it was a buy. Then 1059, which is 559. Here, another great sell. Then 1232, which is 732. Sort of here, another great sell. And finally, I think 1335 there, which we take 5 off and it becomes 835. So another good sell there. Easily making the profits. So yeah, that's interesting to see. And this is what I've been doing all day basically, is just looking for patterns, looking for opportunities for us to improve the system. And that's the main reason of this page. It's, we're our own customer here. We are developing the system for our own use. So I'm the number one customer at the moment, and just looking at everything that we're doing, how we can do it better, constantly thinking where we can improve, how we can develop this system into being slightly better, and in some cases, substantially better. So yeah, by all means, have a look at it, play around with it. If you've got any suggestions, any ideas on things we can add to it, feel free to let us know. Probably the next piece of data that we're going to add is the maximum negative and maximum positive that a trade goes within the time period, and then maybe the result at a 1-to-1 ratio of the predicted move or predicted change, so that we can automatically, rather than me manually looking at them, we can automatically see a result. Beyond that, I don't know if we'll do it straight away, but we will let users, so you'll be able to manually adjust the risk reward ratio, and it will calculate, because it's got all the data stored in here, so you can calculate, you can change the risk reward from, say, it might be just 1-to-1, but you can change it to 1-to-2 or 1-to-1.5, whatever you choose, and it will calculate whether or not they would have been winners or losers with that updated information, just in the back end using JavaScript. So that's going to be really exciting to have that up and running. Can't put a time frame on that, but I'd say probably within a month we'll have that side of things active. But the main priority at the moment is just figuring out profitability of the signals based on a 1-to-1 risk reward, because that's starting from the widest possible net that we want to have, and then working our way in. So yeah, interesting. So let's have a look at some of today's signals, and we are going to only obviously take the signals that have a decent predicted change. So we're looking for 8 or more pips, which this one does have, AUD USD. And in fact, it may be the trade we're actually in. 17.21, so we take 5 away from that, it becomes 12.21 on my screen here. Yeah, it might be a later trade, so one that's sort of come in a little bit. Oh no, it is this one, I think. It's before it had that nice green candle there. I got in at a good time. So we are already sort of six or so pips into this 14 pip trade. It's actually a 13.4, but I got in a little bit below our entry point, which is nice. So it's stacked a little bit in our favor in terms of risk reward. So next we had another AUD USD, which came a little bit earlier. Entry point for that was 69486. So let's put that on here, 69486. In fact, that might be, it's pretty much the same level. I think we had a trade here as well. I can't remember if that's left over or whether I input that when we got a trade. We had the GBP USD, which I was going to take, but then I got cold feet a little bit. I had a buy order, and we got a very strong negative candle after you see these massive upper wicks here. We got a doji, then we got sort of a shooting star, another doji with a huge upper candle, a slight like a bullish candle, but then a giant engulfing bearish candle after that, slight bullish candle rather. So at this point I was thinking, my entry point's here. My buy order would have only got in down here anyway, so I don't think I would have been in, because we had the sort of the 2 pip spread, but it has gone positive, so this would have been a winning trade. But you can't catch them all. It's not Pokemon. So we had, that was the GBP USD, Euro USD, just not a profitable or not a worthy trade. Hopefully that'll change soon enough. Euro Jappy we had here. Let's have a look at that. So 120493. We're looking 493. So I think we're still in this trade. Yeah, we will be. Entry time was 1651 or 151. So 1151 rather. So on the way down here we got in. So we're definitely still in that trade. Actually, what was the predicted move? I know JP's around, usually around 10 or 11. 10.7. Oh, yeah, we would have been out of that. That's 10.8 there, and that's flush with my, well, 10.7 would be flush with it. So that's a winning trade there. Move that. Then we had another one here a little bit earlier, looking for 11, negative 9.4. Was this one of the losing trades or was this one of the winning trades after that downwards? I think it was one of the winning ones. So 533. Yeah, I think we're still in that one. That would have been on the way up here. Should I check that trade there? Or was it another? It was another GBP USD, wasn't it? So we have a GBP USD here from 1646 or 1146. Might have been this buy here, or a very similar level anyway at 25946. Oh, so yeah, pretty much exactly that level. So that would have been another winner, which is good. Another AUD USD. We'll see if we've got another GBP. GBP USD 14, looking for 125,697. So that was a lot lower. This will definitely be a winner. 697. So that was like a perfect entry, really. Let's have a look at the charts. Yeah. Nice. There's there's clear support here, and it's touched it. Well, I mean, you could really put that support in any level here. So possibly we could have got in too early and have been stopped out. If we got in a little bit higher, because we're only looking for about 14 pips, but we I picked the right entry there. And we managed to do really well with that trade. Let me just make sure I got it right. 679. So it's even lower than that, isn't it? 679. It's dyslexia for you kicking in. Around about there. It's not perfect. We're a few points above it, but it doesn't really matter because we've only gone less than 2 pips below that before making a nice healthy 50 pip profit. Obviously we'd only be capturing 14.8 of that. However, because we have all this data, we can now, as I said, input that max pos, max neg to, and we can do that either within one time period, meaning within the 1 hour time period, or we can do multiple, which is probably what we'll do. So we might do 6 time periods or 12 time periods. Probably 6 is a good number, I'd say, because if we were only looking 1 time period out, we've got sort of 10 o'clock here, and we would only see to this point here, which, I mean, that's still a healthy 23, but if we can extend that out for another, say, 2 or 3 hours to see what happened at 1300, and we can see that we're 50 pips up, and if that's happening consistently with certain trades or certain areas, we can start to spot a trend there, And even if we're only winning, say, 40% or 45% of those trades, if we're only risking 14 pips to capture 50 or even just 40, right? 45. That's a healthy 1 to 3 risk reward ratio, and possibly it goes even higher. So we could be looking at like a 60 pip move, in which case it'd be 1 to 4. And on some of these lower predicted moves, such as the Euro Jappy, if it's only a 10 pip or 11 pip predicted move, it only requires to go 44 pips for that to be a 1 to 4 risk reward. So there's huge potential for that, and maybe you scale out your profits as you go. Maybe you scale out, say, 50% at the projected move, and you capture a 1% profit there if you're risking 1% of your account equity, and then you let the other if you're risking 2, maybe you scale out 1% at your predicted move here, and then you maybe let the other 1% ride, which could turn into a 4% return for you if you get that full move from your entry point up to that 4x return. So instead of it just being a 2% trade for you, it works out to be a 5% trade, and you get a couple of those compounding, and it starts to add up. Obviously, you're going to have losers, but if you're only having, if you're losing even say 2 out of 3, so you've got a 33% success rate. You're losing 2, meaning that you're down you're down 4%, and you win 1, you're up 5, as I said. So you're still profitable there because you're letting it run 1 to 4. So huge potential things like that. Let's just check in on this trade here as we near our take profit. Looking beautiful. I need a win. Not that it's real money, so I don't really care, and hopefully I can transfer that mentality when it does come to real money as well. Although I would definitely not be trading this big to begin with. I think I'll probably start with maybe a $500 account, something manageable. Get started. 1% of that, you're only risking $5 a trade. 2%, $10. 5 losers in a row, it's only $50 to $100, depending on how you look at it. So I think I would only do 1% of my account. I don't understand anyone who does more than 2%. It's just crazy. It's nuts. You're just setting yourself up for a blown account, in my mind, unless you have some holy grail system that's consistently active sort of 80% of the time. It's a dangerous game. The fine line between success and failure, and it tends to weigh on the side of failure for a lot of people, unfortunately. So we'll see if there's a couple of other trades from earlier in the day that we can quickly check out while we're waiting for this to materialize. I might also open up the tracker or the signals page just in case we've got some coming in. So we had an AUD USD buy, another one 4 minutes ago. I'm not going to take that. We might actually be at a good entry point for it though. When was the price? 69588. 69588. So yeah, we're not at a great point for that. Pretty much exactly in the area. Although we got our spread there, so we'd need it to drop down a little bit to get in. But we probably would have got in on this candle here as it made its low. That's talking 1.2 pips below, and I think our spread is around about 1.2 pips. A little bit above 1.6, so we might have just missed out. But it looks like it might be creeping down a little bit anyway before it pushes higher. So yesterday didn't wind up being a great day for us in terms of the signals. I tracked for the entire day again, and we wound up being 16 and 28. So that's wins and losses. Appalling day in terms of percentages. Adjusted, that works out to be 14 and 22, removing the USD CNH and not trading the London. So a little bit better there, but still a 40% day. So by far the worst day we've had. But that's okay. We're going to have days like that when we're in the very early stages. This is far from perfect as it is right now. And even the fact that, I'm with those signals, I'm trading literally all of the signals. So that's the very weak as well as the weak, the strong and the very strong, which we need to come up with better names because it's not very good. I was thinking we have weak, average, strong, and then epic. We might change to those or something else. Something that's a little bit cleaner, less wordy, takes up less space here, as well as is easily searchable here, because at the moment we can search strong, but it'll also show very strong as well as strong, and we can search weak, but it'll also show very weak as well as weak. Very strong and very weak is sortable, but with those other ones we have to manually click on here and then look at all the strong, and it's not hard, but it's just annoying. So by changing the name, we fix a couple of problems there, and it sounds better. Epic buy, epic sell, weak, average, strong. I don't know, it flows a little bit better. It's less wordy than very weak and very strong. So we would have entered that trade if we had it by now. Just as you see that the AUD USD pushed a little bit low there. Hoping that it can continue its way upwards so we can hit that take profit, which is only a few pips away. I should say I'm hoping for a pushback in the next couple of seconds so it doesn't close like that, which it will. As you see, that affects the psychology of the market, and then it pushes down a little bit to see whether or not they can continue with that strong bearish candle. I would have set my stop loss to break even on this trade though, if I'm going to be honest. It's got no business, or I would have shifted it up at least to probably this level here, just a little bit under here, so under these closes of these candles, because we've got sort of support level here that it's got to break below, and then we would have to touch on this. So we would only be risking a tiny amount still on this trade, now that it has moved positive for us. But it looks like that was a false reversal there, and we're just going to continue upwards anyway, which is cool. It's cool. Let me sort by date again. Yeah, I honestly can't wait until we have this page developed a little bit further. It's going to be amazing. It really is. I mean, I'm already obsessing over it with the limited functionality it has and the things we can do with it. But yeah, it's got crazy potential. And everyone can use it. Everyone can look at the signals and they can develop their own system based off the signals. If they don't want to follow what we're doing, they can create their own. And that's the whole point. We want to create a tool that can be used by anyone. And yes, if you want to follow the signals blindly, you'll probably wind up doing a lot better than most people when they first start, which is generally losing and blowing their account. You might even slightly be profitable if you're lucky, if you take the right trades. But if you want to actually create your own proper system that is far more successful, and it's highly profitable. Then you put in a little bit of work and you look at the signals and you figure out what the best way of taking trades is based out off of those signals, or you figure out which are the best signals for you to take, and you only take those instead of just taking every signal that comes your way. Right, that's all there is really to cover off in this video today. I'm not going to sit here and watch this trade and hope that it pans out. We could be here for a while. It does look like it wants to head up. It'd be nice to get a close on the video, but it is what it is. We already had a couple of successful trades along here that if I was trading, I probably would have taken, because we were coming off a downward move, and we reached this low area down here, which it has a tendency to just boom shoot up off. So very good trades there. I would have, these trades that these signals we were getting on the way down earlier in the day on the the Euro Jappy, I would have not been taking. They're sort of at levels where it's not clear what's going to be going on. We're at a good level now because this is very strong support and resistance. We've got other strong levels here, and obviously we've got the low of recent history there, not including back there obviously. But yeah, the way I was sort of looking at it is we've closed above most of the highs here, and it was telling you to sort of buy at this level after a very strong downward candle, and to me that's just silly. Your up is limited, your profit is limited. Yes, there is potential there, but yeah, and especially after this second bearish candle here, it's like, what are you doing trying to buy here? You don't buy that. That is a very shitty place to be buying. That is a great selling opportunity, even just for like a 10 or 15 pip. It's like you're probably gonna go below. Look at the strength of that candle with its close and level, yes, with some support here, but the strength of it, I mean, it's pretty much closed through that support anyway, depending on where you look at it. The strength of that candle, it's going to continue down a little bit more at least. So even if it just goes down and then it comes back for like a bullish candle and you've just got a down wick there, you're still going to capture like 20 pips or something. So you enter a trade there, you set your stop loss tight, and you just let it run, and maybe after 20 pips or so you set your stop loss to 0, and then it continues, and you could have easily captured at least 60 pips before you started looking to retrace. So after that candle there, I'd be looking to get out, most probably on the 4-hour time frame there. If we go down to the 1 hour, you probably have been able to get out a little bit earlier, even because you've had your entry would have been here, never looked back. That's the most it's pulled back. After 30, it's gone back to about 14, but at that point you would have had your stop loss probably at 0 or even a little bit profitable, and it's just continued all the way down about 90 pips. It's pulled back, first green candle, that's a engulfing candle of the previous, so I'd be getting out there for 65, 68 pips. So those are the kind of trades that we want the system to pick up on. And I did look at a lot of them today, and there was a large potential for, at least 4x, 4 times the predicted move on many of the signals that were given. If you took them and you set your stop loss exactly at a 1-to-1 ratio of the predicted move, on around about 50% of the trades that I looked at, you could have achieved a 4x result. There's a little bit of tweaking in terms of it could have gone 100% in your favor in terms of predicted move and then retraced to negative 50% or something. So it's like you don't, if you had set your stop loss to 0, you would have been stopped out of some of them. If you had just let it run, and in terms of you had scaled out 50% of your trade at the predicted move distance from your entry, and then you'd let it retrace, it's gone negative a bit, you're willing to risk it go completely negative and turn into a break-even trade because you've already scaled out 50%, then on all of them you could have achieved that, or all of those that did make it the 4x distance from your entry, you could have captured all of those trades. There was probably maybe 20% that you would have been stopped out of if you'd set it to 0, maybe 30% after you'd reached that first milestone. So huge potential to just look at things like that, figure out ways that we can increase the risk reward, the return, so that you don't need to win over 50% of your trades to become profitable. So we're going to work on things like that over the next month or so. Exciting times. Let's just have one last look at the USD, AUD USD. We'll scale down to the 5 minute. Ooh, it's got very close there. It wants to. It's testing. I'd definitely be considering getting out of this trade, but I'd definitely have my stop loss probably here or below this level, so slightly profitable, but I think it's going to push higher, so I'll just let it figure its shit out, but make sure that this wouldn't turn into a loser, because there's no point in that happening. Okie dokie, ending the video. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Hopefully we've got some more interesting trades to go through. I'll try take a couple of trades prior to starting the video so we can analyze those and see where they go throughout the video.